This is Integrative Hypnosis, and what we're going to be doing over the course of the course is learning all different ways to change. All different ways to change your emotional states, your internal dialogue, your reactions, your interactions, all of these different things. And what I've done is I've collected a group of really cool and easy to learn techniques, processes that you'll just have. Once you leave this class, you'll have them for the rest of your life. Most of these techniques are really difficult to forget, so that you have them. So for every strategy, for every thing that you do that makes you feel in a way that you don't want to feel, I can point out to you your internal strategy. And once you know how it is you're doing what you're doing inside of your mind that gives you the result that you don't want, we have so many different ways of changing it. Okay? So many different ways. So you're going to learn techniques to manipulate your internal dialogue. Okay? One of the things most people don't realize is that things like anxiety are really hard to do without internal dialogue. It's true. I see you all thinking that, hearing it inside of your head. So once you find out what it is that you don't want to feel, we have a bunch of different ways to change what you're doing inside of your head. Hypnosis. So integrative hypnosis means I pull from everywhere, but it really is about the interaction between the conscious and the unconscious mind. And it is not the classical, you are getting sleepy and, now you're going to quack like a duck and all of that stuff, okay? All hypnosis here is self-hypnosis. Actually, I would say all hypnosis everywhere is self-hypnosis. It's an inside job, okay? And we're doing it every day, whether we realize it or not. We are going in and out of altered states of consciousness every moment. It's being here now that's hard, isn't it? Right? Because we're time traveling. We don't take in any new information without it going through the filing system to be classified, categorized, all of these things. This is how our minds work. Now, if you think of hypnosis as a state of heightened suggestibility, which is really all it is, and there's many ways we get there. So if you think about this, all that's necessary for the more classical hypnosis to be present is a state of focused awareness with what we call a bypass of the critical factor of the mind. Now, bypassing critical factor is interesting because critical factor, most people think of critical factor, they think it's the judging, analyzing, critiquing, criticizing part of the mind, which it can be. But more importantly, it acts as a barrier, all right? And that barrier, if you think about it like this, okay? Here's the way I like to show it. This is critical factor, right? And on this side is the unconscious mind. And that's about 90 to 95% of your capabilities are out of your conscious awareness. This is where all of your habits are. It's where most of your emotions come from. It's where all of your automatic processing happens. Okay? 90 to 95%. Okay? 5% conscious awareness. And that's what most people think they are. So no matter what you think you are so much more than that. So here's critical factor. Now, what we have here is the unconscious programs. And boy, we have so many. That's how we can still walk and breathe and think and process and feel, right? When we want to change, here's our 5 to 10%. A lot of times what happens is if we've got an unconscious program, let's just say I've been telling myself I'm fat for a few years, right? It's every day I'm dieting, I'm doing all this, but the main theme going on in my head and outside of my head is that I'm fat, right? That's a program, because if I feel it, I say it every day, I got to look in the mirror every day, this is what I think, I'm fat. So then one day, usually a Monday, right? It's always a Monday. Monday, I'm going to start that diet. Monday, I'm going to, just on Monday. So what happens is we make a suggestion like, I'm going to exercise. And that goes boing, and it bounces right against that wall because it does not agree with the program. Because if I got a program running that says I'm fat, fat people don't exercise, right? So there's that wrong belief. But it doesn't matter. It's in there. So too many times we try and we go up against 90% of ourselves. Okay? And really, the unconscious will almost always win unless you have ways to defeat it. And we've got many ways. Hypnosis is just one way. Okay? I'm going to share many ways of having a bigger influence and learning to utilize the 90 to 95% that's here. So that in hypnosis we go psh, and our suggestions go right in. And we rewrite programs. Got it? But please understand, we do this all the time. Now in the free intro, and forgive me, I'm going to use the same metaphor because people really get it. And if you're hearing it for the second time, know it's going in deeper. Right? So, think about what happens when you watch a good movie. Sit down in the movie theater, right? First thing you do is you narrow your focus to the screen, right? Well, we know that's step one of what we need for hypnosis, which is simply a state of heightened suggestibility. Step two, push aside critical factor. Now, we do this in a movie theater without even knowing, without even trying. It's a natural state that we've always gone into ever since we were little, and some people would call it suspend disbelief. But what's happening is your critical factor of the mind is being pushed aside. Because if it wasn't, if you didn't push aside critical factor to watch that movie, there wouldn't be a split second where your mind would let you forget that that's an actor. There's a sound crew and a lighting crew and a camera crew. There's a director and a producer. There's 250 people behind that camera. But we usually don't think about that, right? Unless the movie stinks. Movie stinks, we come right out of the trance, we're like, ugh, who wrote that, right? But here's the important piece. When you're watching that movie, now, you've focused your awareness, you've pushed aside critical factor, now you're highly suggestible, which means when they want you to jump, you jump. They want you to cry, you cry. You're smart, you know it's not real, but for those 2 hours, it doesn't matter. You are willingly entranced. Now the important piece to know, because you're going to be learning a rapid form of self-hypnosis today, as well as a few other really awesome tricks. So when I teach you the self-hypnosis template today, we're going to make movies. And you're going to be able to go into a highly suggestible state and make movies that you want to star in.